Welcome to Ready for the Weekend episode 4, the show where myself and Kev run through our 5 picks for the weekend from the sporting world. This week we have boxing, MMA and football. We hope you enjoy. Alright, so we are opening up with Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders for the super middleweight titles. This has been eventful to say the least in the build-up. I mean, pretty much all week we've had talks of Saunders threatening to pull out due to something about ring size. It's like, hang on mate, sizes and everything, get over it. But yeah, besides that, Canelo 55 wins, only one loss in his record. That was to Floyd Mayweather back in 2014. That is quite the record, even by boxing standards, which records are padded to say the least. 2 draws as well against Triple G and somebody that I've never heard of back in 2006. But hey, boxing, not a hugely followed sport for me. It's one that I'll pay attention to the big fights, and this is definitely one of those. Saunders, on the other hand, 30-0, perfect record, but I haven't heard of as many of his wins as I have with Canelo. It's a case of, he's got a lot of wins, not a lot of credible ones for me to judge by. This is probably my first or second fight I've seen of his. 70,000 people to be in attendance at Cowboy Stadium should be quite the spectacle if it comes off. Hopefully it goes off without a hitch. I mean, we've seen the UFC go and have 15,000 people in an arena. 70,000 is a big leap from that, but hey, if it's safe and all that, it'll be quite interesting to see how that goes. Could be a huge reaction. With Canelo, it's like, look, wins over Triple G, Amir Khan, Callum Smith, guys I've heard of. I'm leaning a Canelo decision win here. Probably won't be staying up till 4 a.m. to watch it. That's a bit of a stretch even by my standards, but yeah, should be a really interesting fight. And leaning Canelo by decision.
We have Alvarez and Saunders going for the super middleweight title. Saunders has been very, very good for the last couple of years. His punches are very clean, very, very quick, and he can be a beast mode at times. But in terms of opponent of Alvarez, I don't think it's up there with Mayweather, and I think Alvarez will actually, well, it might not be a knockout, but I think it could be a decision win for Alvarez. I believe he's definitely one of the greatest fighters nearly all time. He's fought way more better opponents, and he's still up there with his prime. So I'm going to give him the win, but under a decision.
Alright, so second up we have the Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona game in La Liga. I'm slightly gutted. This was actually supposed to be Rumble Johnson against Joel Romero, but we can't have nice things, so I'm stuck watching the slow, plodding, methodical passing football in Spain. Not something I enjoy watching. I find Spanish football unbelievably dull. For me, I like high intensity sports, and Spanish football just does not do that. Atletico 2 points clear of Madrid and Barcelona with 4 games to play. Barca going for the double, having already won the Copa del Rey, beating Bilbao 4-0. These have last played each other in November. Atletico won 1-0. Rooting Atletico here, I think they'll actually do them 1-0 again. That Barcelona team it's old, it's slow, it's so far past its prime that it's a little irritating at times to see what they could do if they if they decide to get their act together and reinvest in some younger players, but they seem so stuck in their ways that I think it's finally caught up to them. We saw that against Bayern Munich in the Champions League last year, and here's hoping Atletico go on and win the title here. I'm predicting another 1-0 win.
We have a crucial game in La Liga with Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. These teams have been very, very close throughout the whole season, and it's come down to the narrow wire. Atletico Madrid has been showing bright new stars coming up, and Barcelona has pretty much the same old team. I think it might be this is the game that might decide on players' futures. I would go for Atletico Madrid. I feel like they went this far, and they have been through many unfortunate defeats in previous seasons. I don't think they'd want to let this slip, and it hasn't shown that. They've been very dominant for this season. I'm going to give a 2-1 win for Atletico Madrid.
Oh, what could have been with this Bellator card this week. I mean, it was looking so promising with that the light heavyweight quarterfinal fight, and instead we've still got a very, very good main event to look forward to between Juan Archuleta and Sergio Pettis for the Bellator bantamweight title. Two super, super contrasting fighters here. Archuleta, pressure fighter, looking to pick the pace up, wear on Pettis, presumably using that wrestling and that boxing to really, really put a pace on him and tire him out. Pettis, on the other hand, is going to enjoy that style of fight. He is at his best when you've got a guy who's looking to take the fight to him, liking to sort of counter strike, pick him apart, damage the legs, slow him down, and I think both guys are going to be quite happy for this to go the distance. Archuleta is going to want to tire Pettis out, and Pettis is going to want to see a fight where he can throw things back at someone that's going to keep pushing the pace. They play into each other's hands really, really well here, and this could be a very, very interesting matchup between these two. Archuleta, he is, one of those guys that has gone so far under the radar because he hasn't been in the UFC. His last loss was to Patricio Pitbull, going up a weight class, looking to do the whole champ thing. Before that, his only other loss was in 2015. The guy can seriously go. He's going to provide a super, super interesting main event here, and he's a guy that should be on people's radars, but unfortunately, when the spotlight won't be on him as much this weekend, losing the co-main event, he's probably not going to get the attention he deserves. Sergio Pettis, on the other hand, the younger brother of Anthony Pettis, unbeaten since joining Bellator on a 3-fight win streak. Every loss he's ever had is by decision. That's why I really do see this one going the distance. Most of his losses are to top UFC talent in like Cejudo, Formiga. I really am looking forward to this, and yeah, with a fight like this, it's very, very close, almost too close to call, but push for an answer, I think I'm going to go with Archuleta retaining his title.
We have Juan and Sergio going for the UFC title. Two fighters have different fighting abilities belonging to each other. We have Sergio, who is going for more kicks and going for points, and we have Juan, who is going more for the knockout punches. Two fighters are very close call to tell. I'm even unsure who we can go for, but I think I might go for Juan, because I think he's a bit of a beast mode. Even though he's getting past his prime, I still think he might pull it off. But again, it's going to be a very, very close fight, and I don't think it's going to be a knockout, but I think there might be a decision. But then again, we'll never know. A very, very close fight.
Okay, so over in Italy, the title may be going to Inter Milan, but the Champions League and Europa League spots are still wide open. 5 teams competing for 3 Champions League spots and 1 Europa League spot. We've got Juventus, AC Milan and Atalanta all tied on 69 points, and we have Juve and Milan playing each other this weekend. Juventus beat Milan 3-1 back in January in the league, and they drew twice in the Coppa Italia, with Juve advancing on away goals. It's another total pick'em. You've got 2 sides here that are so evenly matched, both relying on past their best but still elite level goal scorers. Ronaldo 25 goals in 29, Zlatan 15 in 19. Like, seriously, how long can those two keep doing that for? I just think with how dominant they've been over the past few years, it would be a bit naive to think that Juve are going to let this slip and drop out of contention. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 here for Juventus. They've just got so many players that have just been there and done everything that can possibly be done. They've got that X factor in Ronaldo guiding them to stuff. So I do think they've got enough about them to get past Milan here. I still think it'll be a typical Italian game here, super close, really tight defensively, and I just think that added X factor that Ronaldo gives them will be enough to push them over the line. 2-1.
With Inter Milan winning the Serie A title, it always goes down to the Champions League spots and 1 Europa League spot, which no one wants to go for. So this weekend we have a big match, Juventus versus AC Milan, going head to head. It's going to be a very close match. Both teams have 69 points between each other, along with Atlanta. Juventus has more chance of winning, but I'm going to back AC Milan, as I'm super proud of what they have accomplished this year and trying to recover from their last couple of seasons, which have been very, very dreadful. But thankfully, this season they've got themselves up again, and I really hope to get into Champions League once again, as they're definitely a team I want to see up there in the high leagues. So I'll be going to go for AC Milan, maybe a 1-0 win, but again, it's a very, very close match.
We are hopping back over to MLS for our final event of the weekend, where we have LAFC against LA Galaxy. I'm a big MLS fan. It's one of those just super entertaining leagues, underappreciated beyond belief. And these two teams are, well, they're interesting to say the least. I mean, with LAFC this year, they're unbeaten after 3 games, and they're still likely to be without Carlos Vela, who's missing with a hamstring injury. Apparently he's back in training this week, but probably a bit of an ask to get him on the park for most of the game. You may see him appear as a sub late on if they need him, but I still think it's highly unlikely they'll risk him. Galaxy, on the other hand, they won both of their first 2 games 3-2, with Hernandez scoring 5 in 2 games, but they have looked a bit of a glass cannon here. Losing to Seattle 3-0, I was delighted for that. I mean, as someone that's chosen to opt to follow Seattle in MLS, that was a great result to see. Does do my predictions a bit of a favour here, seeing that they've shipped 7 goals in 3 games. You just look at this one, you do think it's got goals written all over it, but I still can't really bring myself to pick a winner here. I'm going to lean a 2-2 draw here. I think it's an important game for both sides. Galaxy looking to rectify that heavy defeat to Seattle, and LAFC still without their talismanic star player, and looking to keep that unbeaten record intact heading deeper into the season. So yeah, I'm going to lean a 2-2 draw here.
In LS, we have the El Trafico, LAFC versus LA Galaxy. With season just started, it's pretty much hard to tell, as 2 teams have just played 3 games amongst each other, with LA Galaxy just lost 1. Both teams have injuries, so again, very, very difficult to tell. I'm going just a basic guess. I'm going to go for LA Galaxy. I might go for basic 1-0. Obviously, they're going to be watched. It's going to be very, very interesting, especially with derby games. Anything could happen. So it's going to be very interesting.
Wraps up episode 4 of Ready for the Weekend. Last week's scores we actually did pretty well. Both of us getting the Parker and Taylor wins right. The United Liverpool game didn't happen, so I really couldn't see us predicting that happening, and our hockey knowledge was less than spectacular. So yeah, I'll tally up the scores, and they'll be somewhere over here, I think. No, over this side. So we can see how things are going. I haven't added them up yet. They'll be done in post-production. So tune in next week to see how we got on with this week's predictions. Drop your own in the comments below and see if you can do better than us. We're still not that great at them. I don't think either of us have had a week where we've got everything right. So we're pretty easy to top us. But let us know what you think's going to happen. And until then, we'll see you next week.